What is it like to have children you don't want? A girl I worked with had a 5-year plan. Get a designer man. Have a massive wedding. Travel to fancy hotels. And have a baby. She managed it all except the baby. 2 years of IVF later and still no baby. After a long adoption process they get a 6-month-old. 3 months later they give him back and divorce. She realized that she had only wanted a baby because that's what people did, and that meant she was successful. She had never thought about what having a baby meant and what it would do to her perfect life. The husband couldn't live with what she had decided, so left. At least the baby went to a couple who did want him eventually, instead of staying with her. My friend had a baby as fast as she could because that meant she had one life first in our friend group, only to realize that she now has a baby forever. This is kinda crazy because I was just thinking about this today. I'm not gonna use a throwaway or anything. Not that I think anyone on here would actually know me. When you have a kid you kinda get this idea in your head on how things are gonna be. How you are going to teach them things. Share special moments as they learn. And have this cool amazing bond. Then your kid comes into this world and is not at all what you expect. My kid is special needs and has major developmental delays. He is 2 and basically just lives in his own world. Does not communicate. Does not respond to his name. And has basically missed every single milestone out there. So you feel regret, despair, and a whole bunch of other negative stuff. Especially guilt. It was not his fault he came into the world this way. He did not ask to be here. So there is a lot of complex emotions going on. However bad it makes me feel, though, I just kind of wish he did not exist. For instance, as I was writing this, I went to the bathroom, and in the 3 minutes I was gone he took a dump, forced both his hands into his diaper, and smeared shit all over his face and pinned everywhere else. Now my whole apartment reeks, and I had a half hour of cleanup because I left my toddler alone for all of 3 minutes. This is not the first time this has happened. I just cannot connect with him, and it has me feeling like I'm just his caretaker rather than his dad. Edit AWW. I have never really had a virtual Reddit hug like this. It was honestly really helpful and made me feel a lot better. So thanks everyone. I had so many people message me, and there is so many comments I could not ever respond to them all. However, I read everything. I appreciate it. I really do. I also want to address a few comments. First off, I love my son. God knows I have some bad days. But signing over my parental rights simply is not an option. I have lots and lots of family support. And his mom is always there to make us both feel better. She understands us both. My kid is enrolled in various programs and is already getting treatment. He is making progress and is starting to use very simple words, even if it does not make any sense. I really know my kid is in there somewhere. We had one event about a month ago where he answered a question with a 3-word sentence. He even included the word I do not understand it at all, or how it fits into everything else. I really want to believe he is in there somewhere and will eventually get to a point where he can communicate basic needs and follow some basic instructions. We're just gonna keep on doing what we can. Hey man, make sure you reach out to your government for support if such a thing exists. If not, try and find someone to help. Cause caregiver burnout, parental burnout for parents of special needs children is a super real thing. You are not weak for needing help. You are not a bad parent. You are a parent for a child with extraordinary needs and you need extraordinary support to help. Take care. This, I have helped take care of special needs children as a full-time nanny. There was one family in particular that stood out to me because of the level of parental burnout they were experiencing by the time I got there. Definitely reach out for help. I have custody of my brother's kids. I did not want them. I already have one of my own. My brother's kids are not as well behaved as my children. It is very frustrating. I love them. I will protect them and take care of them. I find myself very upset by the fact that I just cannot seem to love them as much as my children. It is depressing. I hate myself because I feel this way. I wish it was just my children a lot of the times. My brother's kids put a strain on my marital relationship because they act out so much. My brother is homeless and addicted to drugs with really no hope of him getting better. Heroin sucks. I just wish it would go back to a family of 3. 7 is just too much for most things. Want a regular sized vehicle with smaller monthly payments and lower insurance? Nope. Gotta have something that seats 7 or more. Holidays. Gotta plan on a family size of 7 instead of 3. It is frustrating. I try so hard to not let my nieces and nephews see that I struggle with this. But kids are smart, and I know they pick up on this. I hate that I cannot just be happy with this, at least for their sake. Cannot talk to family about it. I'm this hero who took the kids so they would not end up in foster care or group homes. But I'm really not a hero. I stepped up because no one else would, but I do not think I'm cut out for it. Edit. Thank you to everyone who responded with kind words. I did not expect this to get so much attention. I saw an opportunity to vent, and so I took it. I have had these kids for almost 7 years now. I love them, and I will see this through until they are grown and on their own. I do not know any of you, but your kind words help. Thank you so much. Edit 2. For anyone wondering why I made a throwaway account for this post, my nephews and my son both have Reddit. They know my Reddit name, and if they saw this, I would absolutely die inside. Hey, that is an incredible and selfless thing you are doing. I do not believe your feelings are your fault or even that they are wrong. I do think you should maybe talk to an experienced family therapist. They may be able to help both you and your sister's children. You are making the best of a bad situation. Do not beat yourself up because you are not perfect. Hang in there. The first step to being frustrated that you don't love them like your own is to really understand that it's okay that you don't. There is a biological difference and connection mothers get when they've had their child in their womb and raised them. Just be okay that you don't love them as if they were your own. Doesn't mean you don't love them. You just love them differently. Just like you love your husband differently than you love your kids. Love you have for your mother if different from the love you have for close friends. It's all relative. Just be okay with it not being the same. It's normal. This is a story of a very close friend of mine. On a bit different note, but I guess it could fit in some light. He was abused as a kid, violence and mentally, by both parents, and was scared of ever even getting close to kids, in a fear he would hurt them in some way. He is generally a really meek but caring person, like a total opposite of what he got at home. This was his just coping mechanism, as kids literally clung to him. Then he met a loving woman and they married. She slowly warmed him up to being around younglings. It helped. She works in preschool daycare, and finally they both decided it is okay to go to attempts. Sadly, and little over a year later he was holding small baby in his arms, his eyes, his hair, her face, her smile. He told me during the pregnancy he was super happy and did everything he could for his wife and future junior. He started loving it truly, and when he felt it kicking, he was internally overflowed with happiness that a small human was growing there, and he or she will have dreams, laughs and hurdles. Yet, standing there, he felt nothing, like no spark, no love, no happiness, no resentment, no joy, nothing. He was holding small, hot, moving piece of meat which he had absolutely no attachment to. It crushed him. Talk with wife crushed him even more. He did everything he could to care for her and hope he will grow to love, but it never came. As soon as time allowed, he went into therapy, and after 3 years heard that sometimes this just happens. His daughter is now 6, is healthy and happy, as far as I can tell, but I heard my share of his pain. He feels inferior as a human for deceiving his daughter, and he powers through it by sheer willpower and effort. If I cannot love her, at least I will still try to give her something I could not have, caring home. He told me exactly once that he really regrets agreeing to have a kid, but I could feel his shame. His wife is wonderful person enough to accept him like this. She told us, my fiance is more of her support than I am. She wanted more kids, but she is really afraid to put more on him. Raising one will be enough of a challenge for them. That's for sure. I know he will keep all his promises and words, but it already takes a toll on him. I think this is what happened with my dad. Luckily fake it today I learned you make it seems to work well enough. Now that I'm an independent adult, He has expressed that of course you are my kid, but honestly I just enjoy hanging out with you. I can respect that. Even if he did not feel love, he helped me grow and supports me. And if a friendship level of respect is all he can muster, I know that's not my fault. I think your friend and his kid will probably be okay. Love is not a light switch that you suddenly feel. Love is a process. It takes time and work. He is doing that work. Media and hype around kids is built up to stupid levels and leaves many parents with feelings of inadequacy. Lots of parents, especially dads, struggle with this. Pregnant mothers have a bit more time to come to terms with the fact they have a child and hormones to back it up. It often does not feel real for dads, many parents, until months or sometimes even a couple years after their kid is born. Sometimes you just need to get out of your head and stop worrying about what you are supposed to feel. Take care of your child. Make them feel loved. That's all that you need to do. I was a nanny for a lady who really did not want children, but needed up having 5 because she loved her husband. Each of her pregnancies her medical condition got worse. With her youngest she had to be in the hospital for 2 months because she had so many kidney stones. Part of her condition is she produces kidney stones at a crazy rate, and they are air stones that have a hook on them. Her kidneys are also more like a sponge looking organ than kidney, that are not functioning over 25%. She would give her life for those kids, even though she never wanted them. Shitty part, when the youngest was 2, her health was declining a lot, and her husband left her for a chick he just met because, and I quote, "I'm sick of you being sick. I miss those kids so much, and I miss her." She got full custody and has even better insurance now that her ex left her, and he pays huge in child support and alimony every month. I knew that was coming. She's sacrificing everything to keep him happy, and I thought, I bet he leaves her. So sad. Yep. He was a jackass and blamed everything on her because she did not treat him properly. Mind you, her house was spotless. She cooked dinner every night and had about 2-4 doctor appointments almost daily, and drove and took 3 of the 5 kids to their private school 10 miles away. It set the tone for the rest of my life. One of those hindsight is 20/20 things. I honestly believe if I would never had a kid, particularly as young and alone as I was in a very socially backwards area, I would have made a lot more of myself. I know that could be taken as self-rationalization for lack of trying and failures, but I also know how I felt, how I have never bonded with my kid, and how both our lives could have been a lot better had I either waited to have her, or let another couple adopt her like I wanted, but was forced out of the choice. Unequivocally, a woman can do more for herself without a whole other human to birth and take care of. Doesn't he sound like self-rationalization really? Not that that makes ya feel better, but maybe a little validating on your perception of the situation. Using an altitude, because my main can be linked back to me, and I'm going to get very real. I had a perfect pregnancy. I was super cautious. Took my prenatal vitamin every day. Never drank. Walked away if someone was smoking near me, etc. My child is severely special needs. She is autistic, but on the severe end with global developmental delay, which is just a nice way of saying mentally disabled. She is 6, but is now just learning to potty train. She is nonverbal, but thankfully understands simple directions. She screams for hours off and on at a time every day, and when she is not screaming she is making noises. She does not interact like a normal child and treats other people more like inanimate objects rather than people. No affection, no emotion, no interaction aside from pulling me to the fridge to get her food or handing me her toy so I can fix something on it. I do not feel like a mom. I feel like a caregiver. I get little joy in taking care of her, and I'm constantly worn down. I'm exhausted. This pandemic has destroyed what little sanity I had left, as I cannot even get a small break because there is no school. This is going to sound absolutely terrible, and this is why I'm using an altitude, but raising her is not like raising a child. You raise a child to be a decent adult. You teach them manners, respect, education and kindness, and you hope that as they grow up they will make friends, get good grades in school, and go on to have a fulfilling life. This feels like I'm raising a very high maintenance pet that will not evolve into anything more. For me, I'm just keeping her alive. I'm keeping her fed, clothed, warm, safe and happy. It feels like I have been taking care of a baby for the past 6 years. She progresses very slowly and very little. I'm hoping by the time she is in her 20s we can maybe have a simple 1 or 2 sentence conversation, or maybe she can have the attention span to watch and understand a movie. I still talk to her and play with her, but it is so discouraging after years of not getting anything back. I mainly just snuggle with her on the couch while she plays with her tablet. It is one of the few ways we really bond. She likes toys and simple games on her tablet, so I buy her lots of them to keep her busy and hope that they keep her content so she is not screaming and hitting herself. I see children much younger than her having full conversations with their parents and I get so jealous. I see them telling their parents they want burgers for lunch, or talking about a fun thing they want to do, or whatever. And I cannot even imagine how easy my life would be if she could just communicate simple things like that. It is so tough. I take her to the playground and the other kids ask why she will not talk or play with them pre-COVID days. We go out to the grocery store and she has a full meltdown and we have to leave our cart behind. We go out to eat and she cannot sit still and wants to get up and run around the restaurant, so we have to leave. She is only getting bigger and taller and she is getting harder to manage. She hits herself and others. Sometimes she smears her poop all over the wall. She slams her head into the wall and furniture when she is frustrated, which is often. Like multiple times a day. She broke a window with her head a few weeks ago and I was scared shitless she was going to need stitches. But luckily she somehow came out unharmed aside from a bruised forehead. I do not know how I'm going to handle her when she is a teen and as big as me. I do not like to think about it. If I knew this was going to be my life, I would have never had her. When I was pregnant, my husband and I agreed that if we found out the fetus was going to have Down syndrome or some other special needs we would abort. You cannot detect autism in the womb. My husband and I have aged 20 years. We are overweight from stress eating. We are constantly on edge that she is going to give herself a concussion because she self-harms, and we cannot stop it every time. We are sleep deprived. No sex life. Our brains are fried from all the screaming and constant noise. We argue and are short-tempered with each other. We are empty shells of what we used to be. Imagine having a monkey on your back 24/7 that just screamed and hit you. It breaks a person. We have been in weekly therapy for years and I probably break down at least once a month during a session. I never ever thought we would have a special needs kid. There is no family history. And like I said, I took amazing care of myself while pregnant. She was planned. My husband and I waited until we were financially stable to have her. We did everything right. We wanted more children, but now have decided not to have any more because it would be too much stress. I mourn what could have been. I wonder all the time how my life would be if she was a typical kid. If you want to put yourself in the headspace of a parent who has a profoundly special needs child, watch the movie Vivarium. It is about a couple who get stuck in this weird suburb that they cannot escape and are forced to raise this strange alien childlike being until they die of exhaustion. It is an odd science fiction alien monster type of movie that's meant to be pure fantasy, but for me, it was the realest movie I have ever watched. But even after all of that, I still love her so much and will not put her in a care center or in foster care. I would be worried sick that she was being neglected or abused. When she is an adult, we are either going to turn our basement into a living space for her and hire an aide to help her, or we will put her in an adult special needs home and visit her frequently to make sure she is okay. I just hate that it has to be this way. None of us deserve this life. If you see parents with special needs kids out at the store or mall or wherever, please just be patient and kind. This post hit me hard, and I'm not one to get emotional over Reddit posts. I just wanted to acknowledge your story since you put it out there. Life dealt you a very shitty hand. It is deeply unfair, but it seems like you are doing everything you can to make the best of it. Just know you have the admiration of an internet stranger, and I really hope things get better for you. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.